Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's 4:32, I believe. Call the Fitchburg Police and Fire Commission to order. We have a full quorum, so we're set to proceed. Second item will be approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any corrections or additions? If not, all in favor of approving, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, carried. Public appearances? No? Okay. Report from the police department.
Yeah, so you don't have to have that by chance, do you, on your agenda?
I can certainly bring it up. What,
I'm
bear
trying to
with
do
me
my
here.
part to not print off excess paper for environmental purposes.
And some of us are old time and we,
I still like the physical handling of paper myself, but, you know, I'm trying to adjust with
it
contemporary
goes
times.
to be recycled. Just,
Okay, I'm gonna bring it up.
Okay,
See,
so
Police
I
and
always
Fire
do this
Commission, there we go, agenda packet.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah,
So we'll just do a quick rundown of our monthly report that I had compiled. As you can see, we are currently full, which is a nice thing to be at. And we have 3 officers in field training, 1 at the Law Enforcement Academy. Our folks have come off of leave and restricted duty as well, so we are currently running with 4 patrol positions that are unfilled. And the demographics were updated to reflect the 2 hires from last month, which you guys had the opportunity to meet, Olivia and Ariana. And I think that summarizes the current state of staffing in the police department. Are there any questions?
I think you have on one of the forms you've got anticipated retirement dates just for,
Yes, in the lower left corner there, we have the
Oh, yeah,
number
there
of
it is.
folks who are retirement eligible. So currently, we're sitting at 5 this year, and then we will continue to have at least 1 or more people entering 50-plus over the next several years here. So you can see just by the sheer numbers, you're sitting at 11, which is about 20% of the department. So we'll be
Okay.
retirement eligible.
and for your, basically your management and detective, all those positions, got people queued up for training.
Well, we were
To
just
get those-
talking about that today, ironically.
Okay.
So, that's obviously an ongoing process to
Mhm.
hopefully have the next group of leaders and folks waiting in the wings, so to speak. So, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Speaking of training, what is your training budget?
What is it?
Yeah.
It's about $40,000, give or take. I don't know exactly what I have requested, but I know it's right around $40,000. Which I think, we don't have to get too deep into it, but it's probably a bit low based upon the cost of training these days and lodging and meals and those sorts of things. But I'm trying to be reasonable in my bump ups on that account, so, yeah.
Any other questions? I just had one. It was very nice to see the work plan timeline.
That's fire.
It is, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to make sure credit is given where credit is due.
Thank you. You know what? I better put my glasses back on. Any other questions? If not, does anybody have, we just mentioned fire. The next item is fire department staff report. Sarah, do you have?
yeah, so, I have it up here, I actually printed it, but now that we have this up here, this is the activity report for January. Chief didn't mention anything out of the ordinary on here, so, I do believe that they started to add the demographics of their staff on the second page of the report. So you should see a breakout of the number of men, or number of people who identify as male versus female, Black and Hispanic. So those are the 2 groups of people of color that they have in the department.
Any questions? If not, thanks, Joel. I was gonna comment, and I imagine if the chief has something similar for his, all the work plans and metrics and when timelines, all, it's always nice to kind of, because especially when it gets, where it involves us is the recruitment hiring. And so, okay, any other questions on that? Okay, if not,
I have a question.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not reading the staffing report in the fire department.
Yeah, yep.
For, black, under that category. It says 4 at the bottom, but one.
Yeah, I talked to Meredith, we have to update that, so I noticed that last time, and so I think it just has to be updated, so we only have one person, so that shouldn't say 4. So I'll let, Chief know that we still have to get that corrected.
And that one is, intern staff? Is that,
Yes, fire science intern.
so no firefighters, no one.
No, one of our career firefighters who was just hired, is Hispanic, but, so you'll see him in there.
okay. Move on to item number 6, discussion of PFC rules, regulations, focusing on sections 4 and 5. I made sure the agenda item was noted that way so we could talk about some of the other part, because I thought it was important, if we see things, obviously send them to Sarah. One of the things that I saw when it came to agendas and setting was to, all of us know that if we want something as an agenda item, we send it there, it'll come to me like the Wednesday, Thursday, and then final on Friday. So I think that procedure will work pretty well, because it actually said in there that I was supposed to do the agenda, and sometimes I think in the past that wasn't done, and I think it'd be good to have something where it's coordinated, everybody gets input, and then so that'd be the system. Okay. Let's start with section 4.
Yeah. So right up here on the screen, we've got section 3. I think we were gonna be looking at, oh yeah, sections 4 and 5. I just wanted to note, Jeff also looked this over, so this document has both Tom and Jeff's most recent edits. And we added a bit in there, at the last meeting, we talked about adding some diversity inclusion language in that upper section of 3. I don't know if we want to take a look at that, but Jeff's recommendation was that we kind of reword it a little bit when it comes to diversity inclusion efforts in hiring, and really basically say that we're looking to reflect and represent the members of the Fitchburg community. So I just want to make sure you had a chance to look that paragraph over. And
Yeah,
I don't feel terribly strongly about it either, so, but I like that wording better because I think that it's more broad, I think, and it also is maybe just a lot further down the road thinking,
Right.
because who knows what's gonna happen in the community.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think it's good, because that's what you want, is to have a workforce that represents your community, so. Any other thoughts? Okay. The next one?
Okay. Let's see. The next changes by Jeff are more like formatting changes. But Jeff, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the 3.04, the nature of selection process.
Did we discuss this last time?
Did we? Okay.
I think this is one we did during the.
Okay. I just want to make sure I adjust anything you added since last time. Okay. Good deal. So now we can start at section 4.
Section 4. The hiring?
Yeah, and the top comment was from last time, just because I just said, hey, we should probably just reevaluate this entire section because I don't think that it is what we actually do.
Okay.
Rosa?
I was just wanted to say the way I look at the rules, the copies that we have from Madison, Dutchville, and from the handbooks. And what I thought is like they're pretty similar. Dutchville, I thought it was very clear and very detailed. We really don't have anything like that. And I went through it and I started writing and putting things together. And then I decided, well, my God, this is already done. I don't know if it would be worth to just look what they have, because these are all things that we are doing or should be doing. So I started going over and copying and putting together the appointment of the police and fire chief and steps to complete an eligibility list for vacancies for police officer, firefighters, probation, promotions, up to disciplinary. And then I realized, well, yes, we should be doing all these things, and it's already there. Why don't we, I mean, I could put it together or just read the ones that we have already in Dutchville and copy some of that.
Other thoughts?
I don't know if you guys have read them or gone through them or,
The Dodgeville one? I
yeah,
thought that was
which are
good
very
as well.
similar to, and I try to compare with Madison
Mhm.
and the thing in the book, and so,
I think actually, and this almost sounds like it's contradictory, you know, but having, the more detail you have, often the better, but sometimes, you know, it's good to be simple. So however we could get things both simple and have what we need to have.
well, my opinion is that ours don't really provide a lot of guidance. And for someone new, it leaves a lot of questions and things that are unanswered.
And- Anyone else? I mean, I think if you want to submit that and have us look at it, it'll be helpful.
Okay,
You know,
Yeah,
I
if you
mean,
wanna
we've
just
got, we
email.
have to have it so that anybody who comes in, this is part of it, they can say, okay, these are my duties. You know, we know that we need to, you know, I think we're adding the complaint, you know, there's some things in there we're gonna be adding on at the end. You know, just because everybody knows, well, this is how things are done, so. Okay. Do you have that ready to go, or you want to send it,
oh, I have my stuff ready.
Okay, yeah, if you want to email it to me, then I can add it in there.
yeah, if, you
Yeah.
know, what section is that one again? Fall under?
I'm on section 4,
Okay,
and I started with the appointment of the police and fire chief, which was pretty much, I was lucky, one of the first things I did when I started here,
Mhm.
and it was pretty involved, and,
As it should be.
as it should be, and, but nowhere in our
Mhm.
rules and regulation talks about that, so maybe I shouldn't say nowhere.
I would suggest send it to Sarah, and then she can send it out to all of us. And, because we're gonna be getting one more, I shouldn't say kick at the cat, because we don't, you know.
Okay, well.
The term is used. We'll be getting, everybody will be getting another try at this, so,
Well, so do you want to go through this, or
Do you-
just,
well, if you, I guess what would be most helpful? Do you think we can just, do you wanna just read it to us, or do you wanna, how do you wanna present it to us?
no, I think it's better if everybody has a copy and then they read
Okay,
it.
yeah, no,
Okay.
that's,
That's too.
What I could do is make a copy of this, and then all of you can take it with you. And then and then I'll add this into here, if you can send me
Mhm.
an electronic version, and then when we come back to our next meeting, we can make any updates to
Yeah.
this, if you want.
I'm
Okay.
not a technical person, but I know a lot of times you can just, if you don't have that actually, you can scan it and
Mm-hmm.
get it put in, so.
Okay, yeah, I can send this to everybody. Thank you, Rosa.
So with this process, I had a thought,
Okay.
and part of it is, you know, are we just wordsmithing a document here, or are we actually thinking about what us as a commission would like to do? For example, you know, should a member of the commission be on the interview panel for promotions? You know, and that's one of the things that kind of, you know, actually, we got the new book
Yeah.
Mhm.
for Police and Fire Commission. Just looking through that, it looks more like we should be talking about a process of how this should work. You know, not that we don't, you know, trust what we're getting, but it just seems like we should have a little bit more oversight, and maybe that should be reflected in
In,
this document.
I think this would be a place where we check in with HR and the chiefs. I mean, some of the
Mhm.
things that, because what you're saying is some of the things that I think some of us feel like, yeah, we want to make sure a citizen is involved in, you know, the initial screening. We should maybe, on more mid-level positions, have one of us, you know, sit in or something like that. It was all 5 of us when it came to the chief, you know, as it should be. But maybe we want to spell that out a little more and, you know, basically kind of fit with what the needs of HR and the chief are as well. So, so open to
Yeah.
that, or?
And that's
assume-
something that could be addressed in what we're doing now, because the process, it's kind of is spelled out,
Mhm.
and then we could add a member of the Police and Fire Commission in the hiring process, in whatever step we think they should be.
The thing that gets tough, and this would be a thing for legal to look at, is that, okay, if you're a part of that, then to what role can you play in the, actual further, because of, I don't know if there's conflict, I mean, that'd be a question I would ask. So you wanna be, kinda careful on that, just from the standpoint of making sure that anybody from outside looking at the process knows that, hey, this was very fair, and, they had the standards and da-da-da, so.
And I think that's where the handbook comes in.
Okay, yeah.
Because it kind of mentions that,
Mhm.
that type of stuff.
And this is really thorough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Plus, we're working on a draft, and it will be reviewed
no,
by
I-
our
I-
attorney, so
Right.
I think we'll put as much as we want, and then we could just cut back, or
I'm open to it. The only problem that we have right now is that we're talking about something that we're not seeing. We know it's there, so my suggestion would be, as soon as possible, get those things in. And then we can revisit and kind of look and say, yeah. And I think it's gonna be very important for both Chiefs and Sarah to weigh in too, from the standpoint of, yeah, this fits, and we can do that, or this would be a problem because of this, or whatever it might be, so.
Mhm.
But I do think we wanna make sure that, the standard practice is, there's citizens involved at this level. It may even say there's somebody from outside agency, it might even put that a little bit more, because historically, we have just heard, well, this is what we're doing, okay. And as opposed to potentially having, it's a known formula. I'm just going back now to days at DNR, we had, every panel will be diversified, boom, it was written, right, from the get-go. So, I mean, it'd be one of those things that I think it may be helpful to do that. But it will be important for us to get that,
Yeah,
To-
just to know, we already do balance panels,
Right.
usually
No,
for
I
all of our
know.
positions. So I know the Chief's been really great about reaching out and getting a community member, but I agree, just having that in the document, we can certainly spell it out. It's a good idea.
It does help to have that guidance there, because
Yeah.
people can just check, yep,
Mhm.
so. Okay, within the next 2 weeks, people get that, so that the next meeting, and Rosa, you get to run the next meeting, so.
Scary.
No. So, okay,
Well, Sarah, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How long will it take to get each of us 4 more copies, 6 more copies?
I will see if we can try to rush that. Tomorrow I could order some. I know Tom had wondered the same thing. So
Isn't
they're
his
just,
office in town?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is in town, it's
is
on
there
the
a-
square.
Oh, well,
So maybe
heck,
we
we could
could
go pick
stop
them
by and
up.
pick it
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah, they're $20, I believe, a piece.
Oh.
So I just gotta make sure I can get clearance to
We'll
pay for
deduct
it.
it from your pay.
so
But you
it's a
get to keep it
$5
then.
charge. Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking if we all had it.
Right,
and
yeah, it would be
then
helpful.
We can just,
Yeah.
put a lot more thought before we actually.
Is
say-
that
I'll-
from the League of Municipalities,
Yes.
Stacy?
I think it's $25, and it's
Yep.
on Main Street or whatever, by
Yeah.
the square.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll look into it. Well, I can do some special deliveries for you.
Wait, Sarah and I were talking about 2 weeks ago about
Yeah.
getting 5 of them,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Do you have
Um,
the old one?
Anything else on 4? Because that, that will really broaden section 4 a lot.
Well, and I have section 4 there.
Okay.
I have 4, 5, 6, almost into 7.
And it's right from the book?
It's from the book, from the Dutchville and Madison.
Okay, so
Kinda
it's a combination? Okay. Yeah, I think if we can get that for the next meeting, especially when we get into 6 and 7, things that we hadn't planned on working today. So, that's good.
So
Our,
so are we agreeing that we'll get that, people will have a chance to go over it, change it, fix whatever, and then the next meeting, we should have a more complete document.
Yeah, so next meeting, we could really focus on the updated versions of sections 4 and 5.
Mhm.
Can we go back to other sections after seeing this?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely.
After looking at this, where it talks about not only what a quorum is, but it talks about the removal of a commissioner and just all this other stuff that, I think would be very helpful, not only to the new people coming on, but to the community.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's why I changed the way the agenda was, so we could cover more than,
Focusing on,
yeah. So, okay, sounds good.
So you're gonna get a copy of that for everybody?
Yes.
That sounds great.
Okay,
That's gonna be,
does that correspond, each section that's in there, to what section we're working on?
In this book.
Yeah.
I
Or is
am
it
not
a different
sure.
section, like it's section 4 in
different
that book,
sections.
section 5 in
It's like
ours?
3 sections.
Is it?
there's
I don't know,
different,
I haven't looked close enough.
they have different sections for the
Okay,
topic.
I just wanna make sure we just take what's appropriate for that, go into what our section is at this
Mhm.
point. So that we're not creating more confusion, so. Okay,
They have
so
it all
we're
here.
gonna have to roll up our sleeves and do a little more
Or what
time on it,
appointment of members.
which I think will help in the long run. A lot of effort and planning right up front. is gonna- so-
Pay off later.
Okay. Let's see, we're on section 5.
So there was a minor change that, Tom, you had put in 5.01. And then we've got Rose's additions for section 5. So
Mhm.
really, once we get those in there, and then once we get everyone a booklet, I think
Mhm.
the next meeting will be really beneficial. We can really
Yeah. I
make our
agree.
way through.
Sounds good. Is there anything else on section 5, or we're just gonna take it from the book? Okay,
from-
Take it
yep,
from, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
I guess at this point, I would just like to evaluate what they actually say. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I struggle with going through this is just, I read the statute, it seems like it's, I guess I wanna know what somebody else, the professional organization that interprets that
Mhm.
actually says that we
Mhm.
should be doing. And then we can use that as the basis of, I don't know what it says, but we may end up just scrapping these sections altogether and coming up with a different format. Again, I don't know what it says, but.
Just from my experience, that book reflects what the statutes say, or should, what the
Mhm.
statutes say.
Yeah, it has citations in it.
And it kind of flows from there.
Yep.
You basically develop policy and procedures based on what the general statute says, so.
right.
The thing that's helpful is all kinds of communities have already dealt with this issue. And then this is part of the idea, I think, when we first sent out Dodgevilles and Sun Prairies and others, is that we wanted to take the best of each that we saw. And I think that's what we want to continue to do. Like, if you've got some ideas from Madison that should be in there, we would do that.
Yeah, no, I work with the 3, so that what I put there, it's included in the 3, in the handbook, Dutchville and Madison,
Okay.
as best as I could, but, I was going back and forth to compare to make sure that, yeah, they're all including the same thing.
Okay. Is there anything else on 5?
I don't know if we can, I don't know if our time is best spent going through what we have already, since it sounds like it's gonna change significantly
Mhm.
once
Okay.
we all get a chance to look at this and look at Rose's changes.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else then on this, since we know we're gonna get the books and do what do you think within 2 weeks? I'm not gonna have a chance to do that, but that's all
Yeah.
right.
I'll try to get the books
Is it-
to you within the next, couple days, so
Okay.
hopefully by Friday,
Okay.
everyone. So you already have one, Jim, right? So you'll have that one right there? Okay. So I'll try to get everybody else's, and then work out a time to meet up with you, whether it's at your, work or whatnot.
Probably worth getting 5 for the 4
Oh,
of us
yeah.
plus one.
One to always
Right,
keep for,
right.
yep.
Well, probably each chief too.
Maybe we can figure
Yeah.
all that out.
Yep.
And I actually have a meeting downtown tomorrow.
Oh, you do?
There you
Well,
go.
maybe we'll
That
send
could
you.
be, I could be the courier.
Okay, well, that sounds like a plan. I think what we're actually gonna be doing though, because it's gonna be significant, is have to go back to even revisiting those earlier
Right.
chapters, so we plan on that, but I think we had come up with a plan, 2 at a time, but I think we still may wanna say 2 at a time, just, otherwise, I mean, it's gonna take a long time. But might as well do it right, so,
We'll have it
Yes.
completed by the time you get back.
there you go. Okay. All right, is there anything else on that then? On the track changes, okay, are there any announcements? None, okay. I guess one announcement I'd have, which is, Rosa, you'll be running next meeting because I will be not available. So,
Okay,
plan on it.
I hope I can be here.
We hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other alternative would be to push it back another week, but then I run into the other issue with my other meeting, so it's like, so. But anyways, if you wanna pick a different date, that's fine, but I think we stick with the pattern and try to hold it, so, okay. Anything else? Then there's a motion to adjourn?
I move to
Okay.
adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, it was,
A short meeting.